Okay, you guys, I hope you are, excuse me, I hope you are in a place where everything goes really well. Um, I know that the last video of me recording YouTube video was about like few days ago because I was really in a place where I am so busy doing this whole new thing. Um, and I would say that this really consumed my time to proceed any ideas or to think about something really clearly. But I've always been a person who has a lot of ideas and then I just store it somewhere. And I believe that this is the time for me to talk to you guys. But as you guys can see, you're always going to be the exception, or you are always going to be the exemption of something. Why does this matter? Because I've seen, excuse me, I've seen so much of us thinking that we don't deserve this, we don't deserve that. We think that there's something fishy going on just because we receive something that it feels like it's out of our league. But there's always an exception to something, even though the probability is going to be way and less than other people might think about it. So, for example, this is a very simple example, but sometimes people forget to take into account about this example or this instance as well. So, my friend decided to print out this document where it usually has to be typed, on computer. But this one specific document was unintentionally printed out, and the blank section of the paper hasn't been typed, and she needed to write on it on the paper. Excuse me, I just ate something really spicy. But yeah, well, coming back to that notion, um at first she was really afraid. She was full of fear. She thought that she wouldn't make it. She was really anxious. She was in a place where she felt that she was gonna defeated by one of our administrators on our campus. But turned out she is exempted. She's the exception of it, and it follows through it. And that happens to me a lot, even though it's only like a really tiny thing. Like like I and her, we both submitted this formal pictures that we wanted to submit for our administration processes on our campus as well, but we didn't receive a reply to our inbox on our Google Mail, and we decided to check on our spam or our junk files, but we didn't find anything. And I knew that we did the right thing, but she insisted, this one friend insisted to me that, hey, I think we should really ask to the administrator on our campus. So we got a really clear answer. And then I said to her, like, okay, oh, yeah, okay, let's go. And we are the exception. Why? Because we decided to submit the pictures quite earlier than the rest of the candidates, the rest of the participant of it. Excuse me. And we ended up being allowed to still be the participant of this event, even though we didn't receive the email, because we had to screenshot the email coming to our Google Mail, but we didn't receive anything. And then one of these administrators, one of the beautiful, kind administrators, decided to check on their database, and she saw that our that our pictures has been submitted, and she decided to screenshot the proof that we have submitted our own pictures to the system. And again, we are the exception. And if we wanted to take it a little further or even farther, we would probably think that we didn't deserve this, we didn't deserve that. We sometimes think that this is too good to be true. This is out of my league. This is this, and this is that. Well, the thing is, the universe is not as stiff and structured as we might think about. The universe always works in a way that we never think about it. There's always, I would say, quote unquote, miracles happening in this world, in this universe, that we may miss it. We may not be able to grasp it. We may not be able to catch it because we're so accustomed to something really usual, the patterns that people always follow. And that's really okay, because that's what we've known for. That's what we've been thought for, and that's the pattern that we can recognize. But sometimes when we find something really peculiar, or when something goes really strange, it feels that it doesn't go like that. And this also a concern for me, because I would say I feel like being able to recognize the pattern is just something really awesome, because people getting used to this mundane routine or mundane activities that they cannot even pinpoint about. And then if you consider and you recognize the pattern, it becomes something really cool. But later on, there's always another formula, there's always another revamp, there's always another transformation that you've never thought before, that it may happen in the middle of something, or you can be the exception itself. Take an example of something way greater than I provide instance for. If you are someone who's been really into fashion, there's this supermodel called Devon Aoki. Despite her background, despite her family background, but she is only 160 centimeter. If I'm not mistaken, she's only like 1.65 meters. So she's not tall. She's not tall. She is almost like the average female Asian person, I would say. But she made it. That's the first thing. Or if you want to take it way, way detached from something called privilege or something else, Giselle Bündchen, at her era, if you're a model who walks for the runway, you are not able to do the commercial. But she did those two things. That's why she is crowned as Uber model. So that's the exception. And there's so many exceptions in this world that you've never think about, that we or you might have never been able to grasp it, because we're so getting used to the pattern that the universe and our surroundings have confirmed to. That's the thing. Well, if we understand that there's always an exception to it, there's always an exception to something, we're going to be able to find our own comfort. We're always going to be able to find our own peace while we are doing something. I know this is just something really easy to talk to, but when you apply it, it was just something really takes a lot of experience and a lot of trials as well. But believe me, I made this video also to remind myself that there's always going to be exception. There's always going to be exception out there. Me, personally, after I graduated from my senior high school, I went to this specific English course. I got my IELTS test. I dared myself to teach English because I didn't want to waste my money that has been spent on the IELTS test. And I was the only teacher, if I'm not mistaken, that just graduated from senior high school, but teach English, specifically IELTS tests. And most of my students at that time were college graduates, undergraduates, some of them even like graduate school, coming from graduate schools, and they want to pursue their doctoral or postdoctoral education. So there's always going to be the exception. There's always going to be the exception. That's why I believe that if we believe in ourselves, coming back again to some of my video that I have uploaded about the power of belief, the testimony of it. If I'm not mistaken, I have like 2 videos before this, and go just check it out. But yeah, I do believe that if you put your faith on you, if you put optimism on the pedestal, there's always going to be the exception. There's always going to be something that people or even you can't grasp out of it. You can be the person who is totally 100% perfect, but the universe doesn't allow you to receive it because you're not the person that the universe allow you to receive that. That's why you might see someone way, way, way better than this specific person, but they didn't receive it. But the recipient is the other person, because that's the universe telling us that that's the exception. Not everything perfect is gonna be on the pedestal. Of course, we are always gonna be in a spectrum where we should really go for what we want. We should really perfect ourselves. We should really build ourselves. Yes, it is. But if you become too perfect up to the point that people or our 3D reality can't really pinpoint your own flaw, sometimes they also feel that you're too good to be true. So that's why being proper is way better than being perfect. And what's the relations of it into like the exception and all of this is this thing. if you put your faith, if you put your optimism on the pedestal, if you put the action as it needs, and you receive it, and you feel that you're not really the person who are decent enough or appropriate enough to receive it, that's just you betraying the universe. And I really need to repeat this. You are really betraying the universe. Because at the end of the day, something that you receive, if it's not meant for you, it's gonna blow up. It's gonna go somewhere. So you never you never know. You never know how the universe works, because the universe works in our own favor, but the way the universe wants to work on our own favor, that's up to the universe. We never know how it went. We never know how the process is going to be. We never know what kind of people that the universe will send to us to make something in our own favor. We never know how it goes, how it may happen, because that's the secret of it. And I'm telling this because sometimes I really want to know everything. I really want to know something. But I also feel that if we know about something, we don't have this type of surrendering feeling. We don't have this kind of patient. We don't have this kind of feeling where, okay, everything's just going to be all right. At the end of the day, I'm going to live my life. The show still must go on, and every day is a good thing waiting for us. Every day is a good thing waiting for us. So, knowing that, I hope we are in a place where we are able to be grateful, and we receive and we accept the idea that we are the exception. We may not the best at our own field. We may not be the best for the position that we are having right now. But if the universe chose us, what can we say? That's the storyline that the universe has given to us. So I hope we're going to be more receiving, we're going to be more faithful in whatever definition of your faithfulness is. But I hope we are always going to be the exception. We are always going to receive what we want to receive, and everything works in our favor. Bye.